Good night, Mom. Good night, Dad. Hello? Who's there?
Hey Chris, I just wanted to show you, you haven't seen my new laser dude look. Well, this is it, and here's a knife I actually made too. Well, not made, but...
You can't go sneaking up on a guy like that. He's liable to do something crazy.
Oh, you're always worse, kid. This thing, it couldn't even cut a paper. Chris.
What are you doing in the closet?
It was great seeing you, Chris. I gotta review Monsters University.
No kidding. My guy's sleep.
The laser is 'cause I like sci-fi. Dude is 'cause I am a rad guy. 99 is 'cause I like Wayne Gretzky. That's why I'm lazy dude 99. Laser time and we're gonna do a review. Yes, we're gonna review. Let's talk about movies and comics too. Let's all go on to review. Hey everybody, and welcome to another Lazy Dude 99 video. Today we are reviewing another Pixar movie. This time it is of course a newly released Monsters University. So before I talk about this film, I really want to tell you how I was feeling going into this. How I was feeling about Pixar in general. Because it is without a doubt and certain that Pixar is one of the best, not only one of the best animated movie companies, but one of the best movie companies, period. However, recently they've beginning to slide a little bit. For example, a lot of people hate Cars 2, thinking that it's too cliched and is pretty darn predictable and isn't really that good of a movie. Personally, I like it, even though it is cliched and predictable. I think it's pretty funny and entertaining, and that's the only reason why I didn't give it a bad review. Then there was Brave, a movie I was pretty disappointed in. It was pretty lackluster, it didn't really bring anything new to the princess table, and it really didn't get me excited about it. And at the end of the movie, I didn't really like it that much, but it wasn't a horrible movie, so it was just okay. So I gave it a 5 out of 10. So I was this close to breaking the Pixar good movie streak, in my mind. Some people say it was broken at Cars. Some people say Cars 2. I still think they're on the roll. And then I see stuff for this movie. Now, I was worried because, first of all, prequels are extremely hard to do. It is extremely hard to do a prequel that people will say is as good or better than the original. And it is extremely hard to really capture that same flair trying to tell a story that came before the story that people actually like. However, it was Monsters Incorporated, well, Monsters University, and I always loved Billy Crystal, and I loved John Goodman, I loved the whole characters that you got to see in the movie. Then again, I was also excited to see these characters again. Mike and Sully from Monsters Incorporated Monsters Inc.'s one of Pixar's best, but it's hard to say that because since Pixar made so many good movies, when you say it's one of their best, what does that mean? Top 5? Top 6? Top 3? I don't know. I'll say keep that secret for myself. So, going into this movie, I was wondering, are they going to get back on track? Is this going to be cliched and predictable? And am I going to have a good time? Before I answer those questions, let's go over the basic story. As I said, Monsters University is a prequel to Monsters Inc. It is about how Sully and Mike Wazowski are going to Monsters University learning to be scarers. trying to be the scariest monsters they can be by scaring children in their bedroom. Mike, and here's the bookworm, the guy who knows all the different tactics and methods that involve scaring, but is a little bit on the less intimidating side. Then you have Sully, of course, played by John Goodman, who is the wonder kid, the guy who's like, he doesn't really try because his dad was one of the greatest scarers, and he thinks he's just so imposing that he doesn't even need to try. However, even though both of them don't get along right off the bat, they eventually have to find a way to work off of each other in order to get their goals. The college movie, we've seen it. It's, we've seen college movies before, and Monsters University isn't that really different when college movies go. You have this one character that joins the Greek house that is full of jerks, and all the other guys in that place are jerks, and then Mike and Sully eventually have to join this group of underappreciated Greek house and be part of their fellowship. And you have the cliches like the muscle versus the brain, and then they have to join this contest, and they have to try to win, and they have to join together as a team, and stuff like that, where you can see, yeah, it's a little predictable, a little cliched. However, that doesn't really bother me that much, because unlike Cars, where the cliches are just part of the story and you can see them coming a mile away, they are still the focus of that story. Where in Monsters University, there may be some cliches, but the focus on the story is really about Sully and Mike Wazowski, not the events happening to them. Those are just the events that are moving the story forward, but the story is really about these two characters. So our main character of the film is... No. There you go. Growing up as a little monster, an eyeball, really, he grows up wanting to become a scarer. One of the people that, of course, as we've seen in Monsters Incorporated, go into the human world, scare children, and collect screams to collect energy. And he's wanted this his entire life, and really works hard in order to achieve the goals. Is this like a thing now? Do we have like a movie where the original movie focuses on one major character, and then the sequel focuses on the secondary character? I mean, they did the same thing with Cars, and heck, they're going to be doing the same thing with Finding Dory, at least I assume. So is this a thing now? However, I think Mike works better as a main character, better than Mater in Cars 2, because that guy was just really, he's an idiot, and they play off that a lot, which is funny, but there's not really much else to the character. Here you got Mike, who, he's really an overachiever, he's really trying hard, and he's really wanting all to be a great scarer, and he has all the knowledge of one, just not the body. But I also like how Sully has flaws too. He thinks that, hey, it's scaring. You just run up and you roar. It's not that hard. And you know what? That's kind of what I thought. But there's a scene where the principal played this extremely cool design of like a cross between half like centipede, half dragon. Cool design. Where first she asks Mike to do a scare of this certain thing, and he gets ready, and he's about to say, and he's like, that's enough. And Mr. Sullivan, I'm a young boy who, and he just roars at her. Screams, this big, loud, scary roar. And she said, yeah, if you would have listened to what I had to say, you would have known that that type of roar would not have made me scream as a young boy. It would have made me cry, and you would have alerted the parents. And then the parents would have gotten you in trouble, and it's basically saying that there is more to scaring in this world than just run up and scream. And I like that. I like that there is a little bit more to it, that you have to actually know the different fears and different, I like how in order to get the right scream, you have to really know this child's fears and what they are afraid of. Now, a scream, that will give them energy, but a crying or, running to get mom and dad is just going to make the child, it's going to get you in trouble, it's going to alert the human world. So I like how they address how there's more ways. So both of these have something the other can really use. Let me just say that this is probably the only prequel that I would ever show when I have kids. This is the only prequel that I've seen that I would show first, before I would show them Monsters Incorporated. And I know some people would say, blasphemy! You have to see the original one first and then see the next. But this movie it almost makes Monsters, Inc. feel like it's a sequel to this movie. Because one of the problems that I have with prequels sometimes is it makes the character feel like how he began in the prequel a totally different character from how he began in the next one. Because the prequels, this is why prequels are tricky. You have to give a character room to grow, because obviously he needs to grow in the second one, in the original. So what you have to do is you have to give this character a character arc that ends where they began in the first movie, in the original one. Your prequel, okay, the original movie will start here and here. Your prequel needs to start here and end right where this movie begins, as well as character depth. That's why normal sequels don't have this problem, because their characters are already flowing naturally if they're done right, unless they automatically take them a step back in their character arc just for, no reason. But I like this movie because when these characters end here, it feels like they are on the journey to become the characters that we see in Monsters Incorporated. Okay, I want to talk about the side characters. So they join eventually. Mike and Sully have to join this frat club called the Uzma Kappa. With the exception of Dan, this slug octopus sales card guy, I found every one of them pretty funny. This art guy is obviously he's one of these characters that's just supposed to be so random for the sake of being random, to add random humor into it. And he does it well. His lines that he come across... Okay, I don't want to give it away, but there's this time where they're all looking... they're coming up to this fence, and they're all looking at something amazing, and they're all like, wow, on the other side of the fence. And the guy goes, whoa, nice fence. I don't know what, but that just made me laugh so hard. I mean, and there's he has plenty of random lines in this movie that are just hilarious to look at and to listen to. Now, and then you have these two-headed guys, both named Terry with a Y and Terry with an I. Both of them I think is pretty funny, too. I like those guys. And then you have this weird five-eyed guy. He's a mama's boy, but he's pretty funny. And I like how Mike and Sully react to these characters, these weird guys. And the principal I really liked because... Okay, there's a point in there where these guys enter this competition called the Scare Games. And I like how this principal, she says that she thinks Mike and his team is gonna fail. And I like, though, that she's not like one of these villain characters where she's trying to, fix it so the heroes lose. She's like, I will make sure they lose so I can be proven right. She's just going by what she sees and what she believes, and she thinks, yeah, you guys don't stand a chance, and I'm not going to really be hearing from you much longer. If there was any characters that were pretty cliched, it would be the other frat house, the guys that are the best scarers on campus, and they're all jerks. Why do the best scarers on campus have to be jerks? Couldn't the best scarers on campus be the nice guys? So... when it comes down to it, there are some parts of this movie that are extremely, cliche that you've seen if you've seen any real college or even high school film. Like, the first challenge that they play as a team, and they do horribly at it because they can't work together as a team. They lose, but then they're allowed to continue because the other team is disqualified for cheating. That's become a real big thing now. Have you ever noticed that? Whenever there's any competition, there's always, the team loses because we're not functioning as a team. And then they realize, but this team was cheating, so you're back in. And then they come together as a team and win the next one, just barely. And then by the end of it, they're a great team. Yeah, that's been done to death. I mean, when I saw that they originally lost, I'm like, yep. Wait for it. 5, 4, 3. There you go. Yeah, that's what I thought. However, that being said, even when they're like doing the cliched montage and getting to work together as a team, I found that interesting. There's one thing where it's so funny. It is so funny. This in this montage, or they're in this arena running around, and eventually, and some things will pop out. But they have to only scare the kids, and not the ones that look like teenagers. And the stuff that they have the teenagers, like, the kids will come out and say, "I want my bottle," or something like that a kid would say. But the teenagers, whenever they pop out, they say it's hilarious. I laughed so hard in it because it was saying all like, yeah, teenagers would say that. I thought that was hilarious. The montage is funny, and even, as I've said before, it's okay if some of your characters are cliched, as long as you have them entertaining and fun. And in this movie, it's a lot of fun. So would I say it's better than the Monsters, Inc.? No. Many movies have had sequels that are better than the original, but I don't think there's any movie that's had a prequel that's better than the original. And I don't think this one is. Monsters, Inc., however, is an amazing movie, and it would be tough for any movie to beat it, in my mind. I mean, now Shrek beat it for Best Animated Picture, I'll never know. Not that I dislike Shrek, it's just Monsters, Inc. was funnier and better. So, in the end, we have a movie with two main characters that are very entertaining to watch together. Billy Crystal and John Goodman bounce off of each other just as good as they used to, and they go on a good character arc. The story keeps you not exactly guessing, but it keeps you entertained. It got a lot of very funny side characters, and you know what? It's just a fun ride. I would say that Monsters University is a great movie for anyone that likes Pixar, and for anyone who's a fan of animated movies in general. And it's just a really funny movie, too. It's a great comedy. And it's not without a few dramatic scenes as well. So, in the end, I am giving Monsters University a 7.5 out of 10. This is a real fun movie, guys. I think you're really going to enjoy it if you watch it. It's great comedy. It has great funny characters, great side characters, some random lines, some good setup, some even like a little bit of drama near the end. And in the end, I just found it thoroughly enjoyable. And the movie, even though I say some parts of it are cliched, they handle some things differently than I thought they would. So, I like that about this movie. It's a good, fun movie. I had fun with it. I think you will too. And it's got me more excited for the next Pixar project, except Finding Dory. Really? Really? Why? Why, Pixar? If there was one movie, except for maybe Up, one movie out of all the Pixar movies that I thought didn't need a sequel, prequel, or anything, it was Finding Nemo. That, to me, was one of your best standalone films. That it was one story, and there was no reason to do any more. However, Pixar's been known to surprise me before. But that, I have no idea how that's going to turn out. So, Monsters University keeps the Pixar good movie streak alive, and does a pretty good job of it too. So remember, guys, I'm LazyDude99, and if I don't like it, it's not worth it. See you around. Be sure to check out more of my other videos on my channel, and wait for more coming soon.